Howard tried to semaphore that he had to go immediately, but Anita merely smiled again in apparent agreement and nodded as if she expected him to pee while he was sitting there on the floor. With a groan of failure, he felt his bladder reach the bursting stage and release its contents into his briefs. To Howard's utter amazement, he didn't make a puddle on the carpet. All his pee had been absorbed by his briefs. The feeling of heat from his soggy briefs spread down between his legs and started working its way up his behind. Although the sensation of warmth was pleasurable, Howard was humiliated by his lack of control over his basic bodily functions in front of his wife. He raised his arms to Anita to try to get her to help him to his feet, but she only stood there with a grin of triumph on her face. A moment later, the unthinkable started happening. He felt a twinge from his lower intestine and then he sensed a tiny fart working its way free of his bowel. He stared at the ground in embarrassment, hoping the little fart was too small for Anita to detect. The baby fart was followed by slightly larger one, and then another, even larger fart before loosing a loud "burp" as his intestines emptied themselves of gas. Suddenly, he felt his anal sphincter relax and open to pass a stool. He tried to clamp down on his anal sphincter, but he discovered to his dismay that he had no control over his bowels either. He felt his abdomen contract again, signaling unmistakably that he was having a convulsive bowel movement. Howard drummed his heels on the floor in frustration and anger as he felt himself fill his brief. His infantile display of anger was useless. The heels of his feet were so well padded by the thick socks that they barely made a sound as they struck the carpet. Anita made a wry face when she smelled what he had done and began laughing hysterically as if she had been waiting for his final humiliation. When her laughter died down to chuckles of amusement, she reached behind herself again and took out a tall white plastic bottle and began sprinkling a sweet-smelling white powder in the air over his legs and crotch like snow. When he touched the small piles of the snow-like substance on his legs, it immediately spread over the surface of his skin and blended in until it disappeared. He touched the area where the powder had spread and discovered that his skin had transformed itself into a healthy pink, silky softness from the powder. While this was happening, Anita knelt beside him and stroked the skin on the inside of his leg with an approving expression. She nodded to herself as if she had every expectation that the powder would give his skin the delicate velvety quality it had suddenly acquired. When he looked up at her expecting some kind of answer to the odd phenomena, she ignored his plaintive expression and firmly pushed his shoulders to the floor.